Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation on real-time speech signal compression with DCT using MATLAB. In this video, first I will show how to acquire real-time speech signal with microphone using MATLAB and then demonstrate the compression of signal using DCT technique. Before going to the actual presentation, let us see the results of the project. Real-time speech signal compression. 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 DCT stands for discrete cosine transform. DCT expresses signal in terms of sum of cosine functions. During the last few years, DCT has been used in a number of applications in signal and image processing. It has been used particularly for data compression, speech coding, image watermarking, telecommunications, digital data, and a wide variety of applications in science and engineering. DCT is a Fourier related transform, very much similar to DFT. It uses real numbers since cosine function is a real function. DCT transforms time domain signal into transform coefficients. Now let us see the mathematical expressions related to DCT. One-dimensional discrete cosine transform C of u equal to alpha of u sigma x equal to 0 to n minus 1 f of x into cos of 2x plus 1 into u pi by 2n. So f of x is a signal which is of n points, x varying from 0 to n minus 1. So this signal is multiplied by a kernel function. It is also called as a basis function or kernel. In DCT, the kernel is a cos function, so it is a real function. So the signal is multiplied by cosine and we are doing the summations for all the points from x equal to 0 to n minus 1 and this is multiplied by alpha of u, where alpha of u is the normalization factor which is given by the formula root of 1 by n for u equal to 0, root of 2 by n for u equal to 1 to n minus 1. So where u varying from 0 to n minus 1, these are the coefficients. U equal to 0, C of 0 is the DCT coefficient. Similarly, U equal to 1, C of 1, it is a DCT coefficient. So this transform converts n point signal into n point DCT domain signal. The U is nothing but a frequency variable. This kernel cos function, it is a function of the signal variable x and the frequency variable, that is DCT variable u. So it is a function of x and u. So we are evaluating C of u for u equal to 0 to n minus 1 for all the points in the signal from x equal to 0 to n minus 1. So this signal f of x is transformed into the coefficients. For every transform, there exists the inverse transform. Similarly, we have IDCT, inverse discrete cosine transform, and here from the computed DCT values, that is C of u is computed. From the computed C of u, we are multiplying it by inverse kernel. So what is the inverse kernel in this case? It is cos of 2x plus 1 into u pi by 2n. So inverse kernel is same as forward kernel because cos is a real function. So the computed DCT coefficients are multiplied by the inverse kernel function and we are taking summation from u equal to 0 to n minus 1. So alpha of u is the normalization factor. So we are able to get back the original signal f of x. So from the computed DCT values, by multiplying with the inverse kernel and then summating from all the frequency points from u equal to 0 to n minus 1, we are able to get the original signal. Now we will see the graph 1D basis functions for n equal to 8. In the kernel, cos of 2x plus 1 into u pi by 2n. In that we substitute n equal to 8, capital N equal to 8 points if we take. And if you put u equal to 0, you are getting these values for x equal to 0, 1, 2, so on. Similarly, for u equal to 1, this is the graph. And for u equal to 2, this is the graph. So we are putting the values of u and capital N and x values in the kernel, and we are able to draw the values in terms of the waveforms. So this basis function having 0 to 7 coefficient values, and there are n point, the signal is of n points, and therefore we are multiplying that signal with a basis function. For u equal to 0, then we are getting that DCT 0, and for u equal to 1, we are getting that DCT of 1, and so on. So we are making use of these basis functions to transform the given signal into DCT domain. Now the same concept is extended for 16 points also. Put capital N equal to 16 in the kernel function, and then put u equal to 0 for x equal to 0 to n minus 1. Evaluate the graph, compute the values for u equal to 1, u equal to 2, and so on for all the points. So the same concept can be extended for a two-dimensional discrete cosine transform. So this 2D DCT is particularly used in image processing. So we have an image, it is a 2D signal. F of x comma y is an image which is of size n by n rows and n columns. X is varying from 0 to n minus 1, y is also varying from 0 to n minus 1. This image is multiplied by the kernel along x direction multiplied by the kernel along y direction. And we have, instead of one summation, we have two summations because it is a two-dimensional signal, that is an image. So f of x comma y multiplied by cos of 2x plus 1 into u pi by 2n into cos of 2y plus 1 into v pi by 2n, and it is multiplied by the normalization factors along x direction and y direction to get the coefficients in the DCT domain. C of u comma v, u is varying from 0 to n minus 1 and v is also varying from 0 to n minus 1. Since there are n by n pixels in the image, and we are getting n by n coefficients in the DCT domain. Similarly, from the computed C of u comma v values, we are able to get back the original signal f of x comma y. So C of u v multiplied by inverse kernel, here forward kernel is same as inverse kernel, we are getting the same kernels here, multiplied by the normalization factors for u equal to 0 to n minus 1, v equal to 0 to n minus 1, you are getting back the original signal f of x comma y. This we call it as the reconstructed signal. From the computed two-dimensional DCT values, we are once again getting back the reconstruction signal from the discrete cosine transform computed values. The main advantages of DCT, so when you take Fourier transform or DFT, it is a complex transform where we have real and imaginary values in the coefficients. Whereas DCT is a real transform, the processing becomes very easy. DCT has the property of excellent energy compaction. So what do you mean by excellent energy compaction? Very few coefficients are enough for me, because very few coefficients near to the origin contains much of the signal energy. Almost 99.9% of the signal energy will be preserved in very few coefficients which are located very near to 0. That is why most of the energy of the original signal is concentrated in only very few coefficients. So because of this property, DCT is widely used in signal compression applications. Further, there are faster algorithms available for DCT similar to the Fourier transform, and hence DCT is particularly used in signal compression applications. And there are various applications of transforms. We can use it in signal processing, data compression, speech processing, image processing, digital communication, biometric applications, encryption and data hiding applications, image watermarking applications, and we can also use these transform domain techniques for the analysis of biomedical signals. So in this presentation, we are concentrating on real-time speech signal compression. So the data compression addresses the problem of reducing the amount of data required to represent the given signal. So we are concentrating on it. We are doing coding with the help of the DCT and reducing the amount of data required. Thereby we need only a low transmission bandwidth and no memory space. So speech compression application we will be discussing and implementing in this work. Throughout the world, growth of the cellular technology and wireless network has increased the demand for digital information. This huge demand poses difficulties for handling huge amount of data we need to handle. The huge amount of data requires huge memory space, and therefore it requires more amount of storage device, and hence we need to compress the signal. To overcome this problem, we are going for compression technique, and how this compression is achieved by removing the redundancies present in it. The unwanted information we are removing so that the speech compression can be achieved. Redundancies are the major source of generating the errors and noisy signals, and therefore we are removing these error and noisy redundant signals for the purpose of compressing the real-time speech signal. So audio compression, it has become one of the most important technologies at this multimedia age. There is a change in telecommunication infrastructure. In recent years, it has changed from circuit switching to packet switching, and therefore speech and audio signals are also to be processed accordingly. In many applications such as design of multimedia workstations and high quality audio transmissions and storage, our aim is to code the audio and speech signals at the lowest possible data rates. We have to see the compromise between the quality and the compression. So we are going for the lowest possible data rates where the quality of the speech signal is preserved. Bandwidth also costs money, therefore we need to reduce the bandwidth. Transmission and storage of information becomes costly when we are using whose bandwidth. So if the data is compressed, the bandwidth is also compressed, and hence the cost is also reduced and we require less memory space. If you use less data, both transmission and storage becomes cheaper. Further reduction in bit rate, it is an attractive proportion in very good applications like remote broadcasting lines, studio links, satellite transmission of high quality audio and voice over internet, VoIP applications. Speech is very basic way for humans to convey information. The main object of speech is for communication. If you code it, we will require more amount. We will require less memory space. So speech signal can be obtained from the vocal tract of one or more excitations, whose amount of data transmission is very difficult both in terms of the transmission and storage. And therefore we address the speech signal by means of the speech compression. So speech compression addresses the problem of reducing the amount of data required to represent the speech. It is a method to convert human speech into encoded form in such a way that it can later be decoded to get back the original signal. From the compressed version, we are able to get back the original signal. So compression is basically achieved by removing redundancies between neighboring samples and between adjacent cycles. Major objective of speech compression is to represent signals with less number of bits. So we are coding it to represent it with less number of bits, thereby less bandwidth is the requirement. The reduction of data should be done in such a way that there is acceptable loss of quality. So we see the quality and the compression ratio. And here we are making use of MATLAB for coding, which helps us for compression and analyzer for the compression of the speech signals with varying bit rate. We can remove noisy signals from the speech signal by properly coding in MATLAB. Speech signal bit rate can also be reduced to remove errors and noisy signals. Suitable for remote broadcasting lines, studio links, satellite transmission of high quality audio and VoIP applications. So we can do coding in MATLAB. In MATLAB, we have the signal processing toolbox. We have main important features of signal processing toolbox. We can generate various types of signals for simulation. We can visualize it, and we can do measurements on the signals. We have the built-in functions for the signal transforms. We have very good analog and digital filter design, analysis, and implementation in signal processing toolbox. We can make use of these tools for processing our signal. Statistical signal measurements and data windowing functions are available, and we can estimate and calculate power spectral densities, and from which we can develop algorithms for speech signal processing. We can also acquire real world signals from MATLAB. I will also demonstrate how our voice in real time we can take into the computer, take into the laptop memory by making use of MATLAB software with the help of the built-in microphone which is available on our laptops. There are so many different ways of acquiring real-world signals. We can make use of instrumentation control toolbox, data acquisition toolbox, image acquisition toolbox, vehicle network toolbox, and also we can make use of MATLAB for interface and communicating with the external devices. Now we'll discuss about the speech compression technique in general. The speech signal is acquired by microphone on real time with the help of the MATLAB coding, and that is applied to transform. So here we are making use of a DCT transform, and we are translating this signal into DCT coefficients. As we have seen, DCT has excellent energy compaction property. That means very few coefficients have most of the signal energy, and the remaining coefficients have least significant signal energy, so we can threshold it. We are making it as 0. We are rounding it to 0, the coefficients which are insignificant. So we have to determine the threshold value. After that, we do the quantization to round it to the nearest quantization levels, and then we do the encoding. We convert those samples into A to D conversion, and then this compressed data is transmitted through the transmission channel. At the receiving end, we do the decoding. This digital data is converted into analog data. Then we apply to dequantization, and then we can compute inverse transform from the modified transform. How the modification is done? We are selecting only very few low frequency components which has most of the signal energy, and rounding the high frequency components to 0. From those coefficients, from those only very few coefficients are transmitted here. From those very few coefficients, we are making use of the inverse transform to get back the reconstructed signal. The coefficients are obtained from the transform. The technique used is the signal is applied to transform. We obtain the coefficient, then we do the thresholding. And very few DCT coefficient represent 99% of the signal energy. Therefore, we can calculate the threshold and apply to the coefficients. Coefficients having value less than the threshold value are removed. Only the significant coefficients are transmitted through the transmission medium. Thereby, the bandwidth of the transmission channel is reduced. Not only that, the storage is also reduced. So we can compute the compression ratio. It is the ratio of length of the original signal to the length of the compressed signal. It is a measure of performance of how much compression is done, and we see the compression ratio and the quality of the signals. That much compression we can achieve for the purpose of this compression of the signals. Now I will explain the MATLAB code and carry out the simulations. First, we acquire the real-time speech signal with built-in laptop or desktop microphone. We are clearing the command window variables CLC, clear all, close all. Now we are making use of 8,000 samples. The FS is the number of samples. So we are making use of the Nyquist rate. Our speech is having highest signal of frequency 4 kilohertz. So Nyquist frequency is 2 times the highest frequency present in our signal. So 2 times 4K, 8,000 samples, the minimum sampling rate I have taken. And I am making use of only one microphone. The number of channels is 1. And each sample is encoded by 16 bits. I am giving it to the variable n bit 16 bits. Now we are creating audio recorder object. So record object is declared with the help of the audio recorder function available in MATLAB with the values, number of samples, number of bits and number of channels. So record object is declared. Now with the help of the command ASP, we can start speaking through microphone. This will be displayed on the command window when you execute this program. Now record the speech for n seconds. So we are setting n seconds equal to 3. For 3 seconds, I'd like to record the voice. Then we are making use of this function record blocking with the record object and for 3 seconds. So 3 seconds I would like to record. Then after 3 seconds recording, it is displaying end of the record. The next one is the store the recorded speech signal in numerical array. So for that we are creating a data type which is of unit 8 unsigned integer. So we are making use of this function get audio data with the declared record object and this UINT8 data type. So we are converting the recorded speech into a numerical array of numbers. Now we will write this array of numbers in terms of a file. So we will write audio file. So use audio write function and you making use of this file. We are creating this file. We are storing under the file org_speech.wav. So you can also make use of MP4 and other formats. So I am storing the number of arrays speech signals in terms of the wave function named org_speech with the x, that is the numerical array values, with the number of samples 8,000 initially. Now we go for speech signal compression with DCT using MATLAB, and this is stored. Our real-time speech signal is stored in this file. So we are getting this file using audio read. We are reading this wave file that is assigned to y with fs number of samples. Now we compute DCT of this y. So discrete cosine transform of DCT of y and capital Y contains the DCT coefficients, and we transform the original speech into the coefficients. And here we are making use of while loop to calculate how many number of coefficients contain 99.9% of the signal energy. So for that we are calculating norm. So norm of y12 coefficients. So what is a norm? This is the DCT coefficients. So norm is equal to square root of sum of squares of all coefficients. So here coefficients we are counting coefficients plus 1 in this while loop until we get a 0.99 value. So this norm for the significant coefficient is divided by norm of the original DCT coefficients. All the coefficients we are expressing in terms of percentage, 99.9%. So this when this is 99.9 is achieved, we have the number of significant coefficients. The remaining coefficients plus 1 to end. This is the DCT coefficient. So from coefficient plus 1 to end, these are insignificant coefficients, and we are setting it to 0. Now from this modified DCT values, the original DCT values were up to 99% plus the rounded to zero value, so we are making use of and then reconstructing the signal from the modified DCT value. So we are making use of IDCT function of y, IDCT of y, capital Y, so we are getting y reconstruction. We also compute the difference between the original speech signal and the reconstructed speech signal with the truncated DCT values. Now I'd like to plot the original signal. So we are making use of subplot 311. 3 rows, 1 column, and first this is the first plot. So we are plotting the y. So the legend original real time signal, y is the original real time signal, then subplot 3 comma 1 comma 2, 3 rows, 1 column, and this is the second plot. We are plotting the reconstructed signal, that is nothing but the compressed signal. So legend compressed signal. Then we also would like to plot the difference. So subplot 3 comma 1 comma 3, third plot difference. The legend is different between original and compressed signals. Now we would like to hear the sounds also. What is the how will be the original sound? Sound SC is a function. Sound SC y of y comma fs. Y is the original speech signal stored in the file, and that is with fs we are hearing, and we are providing a pause of 5 seconds to hear the sound of the compressed signal. So sound SC y rec comma fs. Now let us see some parameters. What is the length of the input signal? That is length of y. How many number of coefficients are used? We have calculated coefficients. Then we calculate compression ratio, which is equal to length of y by coefficients. So we will see how much is the compression ratio with the given values. So here we are making use of this 8000 samples per second, and then 99.99% of the signal energy coefficients we are taking, and then carrying out the simulation. Now run this program. Welcome to my presentation. Welcome to my presentation. Welcome to my presentation. The first speech is the original and a pause of 5 seconds is provided. The second one is the compressed signal. And if you see the graph of the original signal is looking like this. This is my original speech. This is the compressed signal. Compressed signal is looking like the original signal almost, and this is the difference between the original signal and the compressed signal. And you can also see these values. Input signal is of length of 24,000. The number of coefficients used is 19,799, and the compression ratio is 1.2122. If you want more compression ratio, then use less coefficients. We are making use of less coefficients. So we are making use of only 95% of the signal energy coefficients. So I am changing it to 0.95, and then once again evaluate the results. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. And this is the original signal, and this is the compressed signal, and this is the difference. So we have used a less number of coefficients. That is the reason the difference is more. But we can achieve more compression, 3.49. Original signal is of 24,000 points, and this number of coefficients used is 68 points. So we can achieve compression ratio of 3.4945. So we can also go for higher compression ratios by changing this value. If you use more coefficients, more quality. Less number of coefficients are used, less quality. Then let us run this program once again with the help of more number of samples greater than the Nyquist state. Let me take 20,000 samples. And signal energy points 99.9.999, and then execute the program. Hi everyone. Hi. This is the original signal and this is the compressed version. The difference is very small. The input signal is of length 60,000 and then number of coefficients used 23,922 and we achieved compression ratio 2.5082. Now let us see make use of the same 20,000 sampling frequency, number of samples, and we would like to make use of the coefficients which contain significant components. So we are making use of 95% of the significant components. And run the program again. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. Hi and this everyone. Is welcome to my this is the original signal and this is the reconstructed compressed signal. This is the difference between them. And we achieved input signal length of 60,000 is made as a 7505. Much of the compression 7.9947. Much of the compression is achieved, and we can see the comparable quality in the compressed signal. And let me run this program with the same parameters. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. Original and reconstructed are almost the same, and the slight difference is there between original and reconstructed, but we have achieved a compression ratio 7.9. More compression is achieved. We have to see the quality of the compressed signal and also compression ratio. So there must be a compromise between quality of the reconstructed signal and then compression ratio. I hope this video is useful to you, and you can extend this concept by making use of the other transforms like DFT and other transforms available in signal and image processing.